Good morning, it's Ian Koniak, and last week I talked about how to work less and make more money by focusing on your RGAs. And that video got thousands of views. I got a ton of feedback on it, and I wanted to add a part two to how to really do that. What does it mean as far as execution of RGAs, and how do you even know what RGAs are in your business? So as a refresher, an RGA is a revenue generating activity, and there are four types of RGAs. The first is setting meetings, the second is preparing for meetings, the third is doing the meeting, and the fourth is following up on the meeting. And so the key thing that I want you to remember is RGAs are not created equal. What I do is I spend a lot more time on the RGAs that are specific to larger accounts and larger opportunities. It's probably 75 to 90% of my time is spent on very few RGAs. And the idea is those big seven-figure deals don't come along often. So when they do, you need to win, you need to be prepared, you need to get the follow-up right, you need to really execute in a team selling environment, get all your team members working towards a strategic victory in that account. So spending a lot more time on RGAs that matter is super important. So let's talk about what that looks like. First and foremost, setting meetings. What that means is reaching out to C-suite and VPs in your largest accounts where you're not currently engaged. I will often reach out directly with a message that's specific to their goals and objectives based on the research I've done or based on what I know on the account. And that in parallel, I'll ask my champions or people that I know that do have relationships in the account to make a warm introduction. It's always better to get a warm intro than a cold call. I never cold call. It's always based on information that I know can help them and align to their business goals. The preparing for meetings, once you secure that meeting, I'll give you an example. I have a meeting today. We're pitching a seven-figure deal. We did no less than 6 dry runs and 15 discovery sessions to get to the point where we can ask for a 7-figure deal from this client. So the dry runs were all about getting the story right, getting everyone to really create a message and create content that's specific to them. So we had our engineering talking about the technical roadmap. We had our business value team creating a business case. We have our products team mapping the products and services to their goals. So everyone was contributing in a joint deck. We did it in Google presentations, and then we did a couple dry runs. So when we deliver this meeting later today, we're nailing it. We know who's delivering what part. We know how long they're delivering it for. We know where to spend the time. And most importantly, we're getting feedback from the client so that when this is ready to go to the senior executives, they'll already have blessed it. So the prep for meetings should be a lot more time spent preparing for big meetings than smaller meetings. Don't spend 3 hours preparing for a meeting that's 20K in revenue if you have a $2 million quota. But if it's $2 million for that one meeting, you better spend all your time preparing. Now, doing the meeting is easy. That's just basically delivering that presentation. But an RGA and doing meetings also includes internal meetings. So you have to make sure you have a debrief meeting after a big customer meeting so you all can align on next steps and create an action plan. I also hold weekly meetings with my team. I only have 2 accounts. They're Fortune 500, very large accounts, and we have a team meeting where I can know what everybody on my team is doing. So we have Tableau in there, we have MuleSoft in there, we have Service Cloud. I have all my other sales team members that are all kind of reporting back to me on what they're doing inside the accounts, what we're working on, and we're all aligned in the same direction. That is definitely an RGA for strategic selling. And finally, where a lot of people miss the mark is the follow-up on the meeting. So anytime I have a customer meeting, I outline next steps before I leave. I get their buy-in, and then I'll recap those next steps to them via email, and then I will follow up. Typically, there's action items on both sides. They're going to want some piece of information delivered. They're going to want some details. You get them, but you also need to ask something in return. So maybe you're working on a business case, and they need to hook you up with their finance person to help, fill out the metrics, or maybe it's they're getting you information that'll inform a demo later on, or maybe it's a meeting that an executive that they need to get involved that they're going to help coordinate. So you always want to follow up on the items that were agreed to in the meetings, and then you need to make sure if there's a hot meeting where everyone's interested and then all of a sudden it dies on the vine, it doesn't go anywhere, it's probably because you didn't have those next steps clearly outlined and documented. So the final piece I'll share is knowing your RGAs also includes saying no to things that aren't your RGAs. So I can't tell you how many requests I get, probably between 2 and 10 every day, for people who want mentorship, or they have questions they want to run by me, or they see these videos and they want to know something. In my opinion, I just have to tell those people no. Unfortunately, I'd love to help everyone, but that's why I make these videos, to hit scale, to hit a lot of people. And I'll point them to my YouTube channel, I'll point them to my newsletter. But in reality, you have to know the value of your own time so you can say no to things that aren't your RGAs. Anyway, guys, hope you have a great week. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week.